Leading off at number 1, we have Half-Life Alyx, Valve's groundbreaking VR masterpiece that redefined what's possible in virtual reality gaming and set the gold standard for immersive storytelling. This game puts you in the role of Alyx Vance, fighting against the Combine occupation through the streets and buildings of City 17, with incredibly intuitive hand presence mechanics. The physics interactions feel revolutionary, with every object being manipulable in ways that make the world feel tangible and real, rather than just window dressing for combat encounters. Combat demands strategic thinking as you physically duck behind cover, reload weapons by manipulating magazines and slides, and throw grenades with natural throwing motions that make firefights intensely engaging. Environmental puzzles leverage VR perfectly, requiring you to physically manipulate objects in three-dimensional space to unlock doors, power up generators, and solve mechanical contraptions. The gravity gloves let you pull distant objects to your hands with satisfying wrist flicks, creating a core mechanic that feels magical every single time you use it. Enemy encounters range from head crabs that leap at your face, creating genuine jump scares, to heavily armored Combine soldiers that force tactical positioning and resource management. The narrative delivers a compelling story set between Half-Life 1 and 2, with emotional character moments enhanced by the intimacy of VR presence, making conversations feel personal and impactful throughout the adventure. Moving to number 2 is Pavlov VR, the community-driven tactical shooter that has become the Counter-Strike of virtual reality, with its competitive gameplay and extensive mod support. This game focuses on realistic weapon handling, where you manually rack slides, insert magazines, and operate safety mechanisms, creating an authentic firearms experience that rewards muscle memory development. The core game modes include Search and Destroy, Team Deathmatch, and Gun Game, offering familiar competitive structures that translate beautifully to VR, with the added dimension of physical movement and aiming. Maps range from tight indoor environments requiring close-quarters combat skills to open outdoor spaces where long-range precision and positioning determine success in engagements. The workshop integration allows community members to create custom maps, game modes, and even total conversions, transforming Pavlov into anything from World War II battles to zombie survival scenarios. Gunplay feels incredibly satisfying, with realistic recoil patterns that you control through physical arm movements rather than mouse compensation, creating a unique skill ceiling for competitive players. Voice chat integration makes teamwork essential as you coordinate strategies, call out enemy positions, and execute tactical plays with your squad in ranked matches. The active player base ensures you can always find populated servers across various game modes and skill levels, making it one of the most consistently engaging multiplayer VR experiences available today. At number 3 sits Into the Radius, the immersive survival shooter that combines stalker-inspired atmosphere with methodical gameplay that demands respect for every bullet and careful planning before venturing into anomalous zones. This game drops you into the Petchorsk radius, where reality has fractured, creating deadly anomalies, hostile entities, and valuable artifacts worth risking your life to retrieve for payment and upgrades. The weapon maintenance system requires you to physically clean guns at your base using rods and oil to prevent malfunctions during critical moments when phantoms materialize from thin air. Inventory management happens in real time as you physically organize your backpack, deciding what supplies to bring on missions, knowing every item has weight, affecting your stamina and movement capabilities. Navigation relies on physical map reading and compass use rather than mini-map waypoints, creating genuine tension when you're deep in hostile territory trying to find extraction points before nightfall. The atmosphere is phenomenal, with oppressive fog, eerie sound design, and the constant threat of reality-warping anomalies that can kill instantly if you're not scanning carefully with your detector. Combat against the phantom entities feels terrifying, as these glitching entities can appear anywhere, forcing constant awareness and quick reactions to survive encounters in the irradiated wastelands. The progression loop of accepting contracts, preparing equipment, venturing into danger, and returning with artifacts to upgrade your arsenal creates an addictive cycle that keeps you coming back despite the punishing difficulty. Number 4 brings us Bonelab, Stress Level Zero's physics playground that expands on Boneworks with improved systems and creative sandbox possibilities that let players experiment with emergent gameplay scenarios. This game prioritizes physical interaction with realistic weight simulation, where objects respond to momentum and force, creating satisfying melee combat and environmental manipulation opportunities throughout levels. The avatar switching mechanic lets you inhabit different body types, from small, nimble characters to massive, heavy builds that fundamentally change how you navigate spaces and approach combat encounters. Combat feels weighty and impactful, whether you're using firearms that require proper two-handed grip techniques or swinging melee weapons with full physics simulation that accounts for leverage and momentum. The campaign takes you through bizarre reality-bending scenarios that serve as tutorials for the game's systems, while telling a surreal story about consciousness and simulation that gets progressively stranger. Modding support has created an incredibly active community, producing custom maps, weapons, avatar skins, and total conversion mods that dramatically extend the content available beyond the base experience. Experimental modes let you test physics interactions, spawn enemies to fight in custom arenas, or just mess around with the robust toolset, discovering emergent interactions between systems. The developers' commitment to realistic physics over gamey conveniences creates a unique VR experience that rewards players who embrace the simulation aspects and learn to work with rather than against the physical systems. Coming in at number 5 is Contractors, the military simulator that delivers authentic modern warfare combat with excellent gunplay and large-scale multiplayer battles that showcase what competitive VR shooters can achieve. This game features realistic weapon customization, where you can attach various optics, grips, magazines, and barrel attachments to create loadouts perfectly suited to your preferred engagement distances and tactics. The gunplay is exceptionally refined, with accurate ballistics, realistic recoil patterns, and satisfying weapon feedback that makes each firearm feel distinct and powerful when landing shots on target. Game modes span traditional team deathmatch and domination to objective-based scenarios that require coordination between squad members to capture points and complete mission parameters under fire. The player count supports larger lobbies than most VR shooters, allowing for chaotic combined arms warfare, with multiple squads engaging across sprawling maps with vehicles and emplacements. Community servers and mod support enable custom game modes, including popular recreations of classic shooters, bringing nostalgic experiences into VR with full physical interaction and immersion. The progression system unlocks new weapons, attachments, and equipment as you level up, providing long-term goals beyond just improving individual skill and win rates in matches. Cross-play functionality between different VR platforms ensures healthy population numbers across regions and times, making it easy to find competitive matches whenever you want to play serious tactical shooter action. At number 6 stands Arizona Sunshine 2, the sequel that improves upon the original zombie shooter formula with enhanced graphics, better AI companions, and more varied combat scenarios against the undead hordes. This game puts you in the sun-baked southwestern United States, fighting through zombie-infested locations with a trustworthy canine companion named Buddy, who assists in combat and provides emotional anchor to the narrative. The weapon variety includes pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, and improvised melee weapons, all requiring manual reloading and maintenance, creating tension when you're surrounded and fumbling to chamber another round. Two-handed weapon handling feels excellent, with proper grip positioning affecting accuracy and recoil control, rewarding players who take time to aim carefully rather than spray wildly at approaching zombies. The dismemberment system lets you strategically target zombie limbs to disable threats, or go for headshots that drop them instantly, conserving precious ammunition for tougher encounters ahead. Buddy the dog isn't just cosmetic, but actively helps by attacking zombies, retrieving items, and alerting you to nearby threats, making him feel like a genuine companion rather than scripted follower. The campaign offers substantial length with varied environments, from abandoned towns to military installations, each presenting unique combat scenarios and environmental storytelling about the outbreak. Cooperative multiplayer lets you team up with friends to tackle the zombie apocalypse together, with scaling difficulty ensuring the game remains challenging regardless of player count in your party. Number 7 presents After the Fall, the cooperative zombie shooter set in a frozen post-apocalyptic Los Angeles, where you and 3 teammates fight through hordes of mutated snowbreed enemies. This game emphasizes teamwork through shared resources, revive mechanics, and objective-based missions that require coordination to extract successfully with your hard-earned loot and experience points. The weapon crafting system lets you build and customize firearms back at base camp using blueprints and materials gathered during runs, creating motivation to explore thoroughly despite the constant danger. Combat encounters balance standard infected enemies with special mutant types that have unique abilities requiring different tactics, from explosive bloaters to armored brutes that soak damage. The progression system includes character leveling, weapon upgrades, and cosmetic customization, giving you tangible goals to work toward across multiple playthroughs of the various missions and difficulties. Maps are designed with multiple paths and secrets, rewarding exploration while maintaining forward momentum toward extraction points before the snowbreed overwhelm your position completely. The 1980s retro-futuristic aesthetic creates a distinct visual identity with neon colors, retro technology, and an upbeat soundtrack that contrasts beautifully with the grim survival horror situation. Cross-platform multiplayer ensures you can play with friends regardless of their VR headset, creating a unified player base and reducing matchmaking times when looking for cooperative partners online. At number 8, we find Onward, the hardcore milsim that pioneered realistic military VR gameplay with minimal HUD elements and unforgiving combat that punishes careless play with instant death. This game demands communication and coordination with your squad as you execute tactical operations across various objective-based scenarios, from hostage rescue to uplink establishment under enemy fire. The weapon handling is meticulously realistic, requiring proper magazine management, understanding different firing modes, and compensating for ballistics over distance when engaging targets across outdoor maps. Movement is deliberate, with realistic stamina systems, no health regeneration, and 1 or 2 shots being potentially lethal, creating tense firefights where positioning and cover usage determine survival. The planning phase before rounds lets teams coordinate loadouts, assign roles, and develop strategies rather than just rushing in blindly, creating a more thoughtful, tactical experience than typical shooters. Night vision and thermal optics add another layer of complexity to nighttime operations, where visibility is limited and environmental awareness becomes crucial to avoiding ambushes or friendly fire incidents. The community takes the simulation aspect seriously, with organized groups running coordinated operations using military tactics and communication protocols for immersive tactical experiences. Regular updates have added new maps, weapons, and game modes, while refining the core systems based on player feedback, maintaining Onward's position as the definitive milsim VR experience for players seeking authentic combat simulation. Number 9 delivers Zero Caliber VR, the story-driven military shooter that combines campaign missions with cooperative gameplay and extensive weapon customization in a package focused on blockbuster action set pieces. This game features a full single-player campaign with scripted story missions taking you through various combat scenarios, from urban warfare to vehicle sections and stealth infiltration objectives across enemy territory. The weapon customization goes incredibly deep, with the ability to attach and swap components in real time during missions, including scopes, suppressors, grips, and different ammunition types affecting performance characteristics. Gunplay feels substantial, with satisfying recoil and weapon handling that requires proper stance and two-handed control for automatic weapons, while allowing quick pistol draws for close encounters when enemies rush your position. Cooperative modes let you tackle missions with friends, featuring difficulty scaling and enemy reinforcements that adapt to player count, ensuring challenging experiences whether playing solo or in full squads. The physics system allows creative problem-solving using the environment as weapons, from explosive barrels to vehicles that can be used as mobile cover or battering rams against enemy positions. Progression includes unlocking new weapons, attachments, and equipment through completing missions and achieving optional objectives that encourage replaying levels to discover all secrets and maximize completion ratings. The developers continue supporting the game with updates, adding new campaign chapters, weapons, and quality of life improvements based on community feedback, showing long-term commitment to the player base and game evolution. Rounding out our list at number 10 is Ghosts of Tabor, the extraction shooter that brings the Escape from Tarkov formula to VR with intense risk-reward gameplay and persistent inventory systems. This game drops you into hostile zones where you must loot valuable items while avoiding or eliminating other players and AI enemies before extracting successfully to keep your gear and profits. The weapon handling requires manual reloading, clearing jams, and managing limited inventory space, forcing difficult decisions about what loot is worth carrying versus leaving behind when capacity fills up. Death means losing everything you brought into the raid, creating genuine tension during firefights where the stakes feel meaningful and every engagement could result in catastrophic equipment loss. The progression economy revolves around completing quests, selling loot, and purchasing better equipment to improve your chances of survival in increasingly dangerous raid locations with tougher enemies and competition. Player interactions create emergent narratives as you decide whether to engage other players on site, attempt cooperation for mutual benefit, or avoid conflict entirely, focusing purely on looting and extraction. The maps offer multiple extraction points and routes, encouraging varied approaches rather than forcing everyone through the same choke points, where camping becomes dominant strategy, ruining flow. The realistic ballistics model accounts for bullet drop, penetration values, and armor effectiveness, making weapon and ammunition choices tactically significant beyond just damage numbers displayed in menus, making every loadout decision matter for raid success.